Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Alex Exploring. I'm Alex, and today we are in the beautiful town of Cincinnati, Ohio. We're going to check out some Ohio historical markers here along the river, and then we're headed to the Cincinnati Reds game. So let's get started here on our venture in Cincinnati. Our first stop is going to be at a cluster of Ohio historical markers right there at the Purple People Bridge here along the Ohio River. Here's access to the river. We're going under this brick bridge. Beautiful archways. It's pretty cool. Old bridge. So we're going to hit these up one after another. So buckle in. We have 5 Ohio historical markers here to read. All right, this is the first one, 1749, French claims to the Ohio River Valley. Number 1231 here in Hamilton County, placed here in 1994. A translation of French inscription on lead plates in 1749 in the reign of Louis XV, King of France. We, Celeron, commander of the detachment sent by Monsieur the Marquis de la Glaçonnière, Governor General of New France, to reestablish tranquility in some uncivilized districts, have buried this plate at the mouth of the Great Miami River, 31st of August, near the River Ohio, otherwise beautiful river, as a monument to the renewal of possession we have taken of said River Ohio and lands on both sides of the tributaries to their sources, as enjoyed or ought to have been enjoyed by the preceding kings of France, as they have there maintained themselves by arms, and especially by the treaties of Ryswick, Utrecht, and La Chapelle. Let's continue from the other side. So this is going to tell us all about it. In 1749, the French in North America perceived the threat by British expansion west of the Allegheny Mountains to the Ohio River Valley and beyond. The French commander Pierre Joseph Celeron, Sieur de Blainville, with 250 men, left Montreal, New France, to establish French claims. They buried inscribed lead plates at the mouth of 6 important tributaries to the Ohio River. 3 lead plates have been recovered. 1 was sent to England, and 2 are in Ohio historical societies. The final plate was buried just west of here at the mouth of the Great Miami River before the detachment turned north. However, after the British captured Montreal in 1760, French claims east of the Mississippi River were ceded to Britain by the 1763 Treaty of Paris. British Parliament annexed to Quebec, now Canada, and controlled all lands north of the Ohio River until 1776. And as we read this, there's a barge moving along the river. Let's take a photo, move to our next one. All right, the next one is 1431, the Irish in Cincinnati. In memory of the Irish people who left a country where only their rivers run free, the Irish came to Cincinnati, where they contributed to housing, education, employment, religious freedom, medical care, and recreation, and embrace all aspects of life in the city. The descendants of Irish immigrants hope that our hands will ever be extended in friendship and never in want. Flatboats on the Ohio River brought many of the first Irish, some with land grants received after the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812, to the Cincinnati area. In 1789, Francis Kennedy arrived in Losantiville, where he operated the first ferry service across the Ohio to the mouth of the Licking River. In 1791, Irishman Joseph Lloyd managed the first one-room schoolhouse on the river bank west of Sycamore Street. A soap maker whose family had immigrated from Ireland, James Gamble, and a candle maker from England, William Proctor, joined together to form the Procter and Gamble Company in 1837. Thousands of Irish came to Cincinnati during the 1840s and 1850s as a result of Ireland's Great Hunger, when millions of people either died of or immigrated to avoid starvation. During the Civil War, hospital ships staffed by Irish nuns traveled the Ohio River carrying for and transporting wounded soldiers to Cincinnati. All right, this is number 1831, the Sultana. This is the same on both sides already, so we'll be able just to do one side here. In 1862, less than a mile upriver from this marker, the John Lithobury Shipyard in Cincinnati constructed the Sultana, a 260-foot wooden steam transport. At the end of the Civil War, the U.S. government contracted the Sultana to transport recently freed federal prisoners north from Confederate stockades. During the night of April 27, 1865, while carrying over 2,300 Union soldiers, over 6 times its capacity of 376 passengers, a steam boiler aboard the Sultana exploded. The ship erupted in the massive fireball and sank in the cold, flood-swollen Mississippi River 10 miles north of Memphis, Tennessee. Over 1,700 individuals died, some 200 more than those lost aboard the Titanic in 1912. In what remains the worst maritime disaster in American history. Of the total casualties, Ohio lost the most of any state with 791 dead. Indiana lost 491 persons, with Kentucky suffering 194 dead. It is estimated that of the Ohio casualties, over 50 were Cincinnatians. A couple boats going by. This one is number 5831, placed here in 2003, the Black Brigade of Cincinnati. Following the success of Confederate forces in eastern Kentucky and General John Hunt Morgan's raid there in 1862, Cincinnatians believed the Southern invasion was imminent. Anxious officials ordered Cincinnati citizens to form home guards, but black men were willing to volunteer were rebuffed when they attempted to join a defense force. Instead, police serving as provost guards rounded up many and marched them by bayonet to build fortifications in Kentucky. Reacting to the shameful treatment of the blacks eager to support the Union, the commander of the Department of Ohio dispatched Major General Lewis Wallace to command the civilians and to liberate black men forced into service. Judge William Martin Dixon, who favored enlisting black soldiers in the Union Army, assumed command of the brigade, composed of 1,000 African American volunteers determined to fight to end slavery. From September 2nd to 20th, they cleared forests and built military roads, rifles, pits, and fortifications. You see, there's one of the river boats coming through on the river. Receiving deserved praise for their labor, the unit disbanded when the Confederate forces no longer imperiled the city. Members of the Cincinnati Black Brigade, 1st Black Unit with military purpose in the Civil War, later fought with the 127th Ohio Infantry, Voluntary Infantry, and other black regiments. And the last one here is number 2231, placed here in 2001, Cincinnati's German heritage. Cincinnati, along with Milwaukee and St. Louis, is one of the 3 corners of the German Triangle, so called for its historically high concentration of German American residents. During the 19th century, Cincinnati was both a destination for immigrants to the tri-state area and a hub from which many groups of Germans moved inland to settle new Ohio communities, many along the Miami and Erie Canal corridor, which began here. German Americans have greatly influenced the social and cultural, economic, and political life of the Cincinnati area. At the turn of the 21st century, approximately half of Cincinnati's population was of German descent. The first Germans arrived in Cincinnati in 1788, and after 1795, Martin Baum, known as the father of German immigration to Cincinnati, recruited many early German arrivals. In 1802, American Revolutionary veteran Major David Ziegler became Cincinnati's first mayor. Mass, mass migration began in the 1830s with Cincinnati's boom in the meatpacking and shipping industries, especially from northern Germany. It accelerated after the 1848 revolution in Prussia, and many of the refugees or 48ers assumed community leadership roles here. The last major wave of German immigration were Danube Swabians in the mid 20th century. The city's symbol, the Tyler Davidson Fountain, was created in Cincinnati's sister city, Munich. Other landmarks of German heritage include the Over the Rhine district, the Roebling Suspension Bridge, Cincinnati's brewing tradition, and many of its street names. Now that we have gotten those Ohio historical markers out of the way, I'm going to meet back up here with Casey, my wife, and we're going to head to the ball game. This is one of many different pigs, because it's the Flying Pig City, I think it is. But right here, we have this giant bridge. I think it's for railroads. Not quite sure though. Let's head to the game. You can see here an old trolley car track that goes along the river, goes all the way down there to where those Ohio historical markers were. It's a very old town here, old city. Here for some baseball.
6 homers and 32 RBIs. He was held hitless at the ball game last night, going over 4. Here's Neil Whitehead, single drive.
We have to go over here to the escalators. Or here's an elevator right here.
We're in firewood territory now that we're up to bat, so I don't like walking around.
We're on, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, trust.
All right, we are out front of the Great American Ballpark here, home of the Reds, for final Ohio Historical Marker here on this small day trip to Cincinnati. It's all about Cincinnati Reds, number 5431. The 1869 Cincinnati Red Stockings made history not only as the most dominant baseball club of its time, but also as the first band of professional ball players. Cincinnati's decision to pay players proved to be a success, and other cities soon began establishing their own professional clubs throughout America. In 1876, the Reds joined the newly formed National League. Baseball soon became one of Cincinnati's most popular entertainment venues, aided in part of the team's World Series titles in 1919 and 1940. Cincinnati's Big Red Machine, featuring players such as Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan, and Pete Rose, dominated baseball in the 1970s, picking up an additional titles in 1975 and 1976. Surprise wire-to-wire title again in 1990 strengthened the Reds' legacy and helped ensure future generations of Reds fans. So, here we are. That's all for us today here in Cincinnati. Hope you enjoyed our journey here for a little bit of baseball and Ohio Historical Markers. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and favorite. Comment in the comment section below if you had a good experience viewing this video. And with that being said, I'll see you on our next adventure. Alex Exploring out. See you later.